Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today, Friday morning, February 5th, 2021 on the Manly Call Meathead. And, while I was promised 9 inches, again, that's what she said, here in the Fox Valley, we got a good solid 6. I mean, if all you're getting is 6 inches, it's a good morning to be alive. Good morning, Matthew Thomas.
Sometimes you just got to be just satisfied with what you get. Good morning to you, Meathead.
Hey, I'm satisfied that they gave me the 6 inches I asked for. It's as long as you know what to do with the 6 inches. We're going to make snowmen later today. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
You want to build a snowman? Papa, can you hear me?
Are you
Deadpool 2?
Once upon a time ago, I did.
Where he kept going, am I wrong? Or do you want to build a snowman sound like Papa, can you hear me?
Let me ask you this. Do you have a corncob pipe that you can use in the building of the snowman?
No, but what we're doing for eyes is soda cap bottles or soda bottle caps.
Well, and the thing of it is too, like you building a snowman with little ones, you probably don't want to encourage pipe smoking, I would imagine.
No, I'm not having my kids smoking pipes. Plus, with the weather that's going through, I mean, honestly, the temperature is going to drop right off the table, so they're only going to be outside for 10 minutes at a time anyway.
You know what? I wonder how many children have their first explanation or indoctrination into smoking with the building of a snowman. Can you imagine that? You've never
those 80 kids were smoking candy cigarettes. That's how we got invested.
That's right. That you probably had some Joe Camel paraphernalia too, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely. I worked at a gas station, and even though I still don't smoke and never really smoked, Joe Camel gave out pool tables and T-shirts and all sorts of fun little, tchotchkes. So yeah, Joe Camel looked like a penis anyway. So
I gotta say, I was more of a Joe Camel fan than I was the Marlboro Man. Joe Camel he seemed cool.
You ever see the movie Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man?
I know of it. I never watched it.
The wrestler was in it.
The wrestler?
Yeah, Mickey Rourke.
Oh,
Don Johnson and Mickey Rourke.
I need to go back and watch that movie. I watched it once in the theater. And I don't think I've seen it since it's been released. I need to go back. It was a solid movie.
Yeah. So Mickey Rourke is the Harley Davidson, and Don Johnson is the Marlboro Man.
Not as interesting a movie as it would have been had Don Rickles star, or Don Knotts. Don Knotts actually was what I was trying to think of. Start opposite Mickey Rourke. I'd pay to see that.
Don Knotts and Mickey Rourke, and the Marlboro Man comes to Mayberry.
Sign me up. You know what? I might have to write some fan fiction about that.
There you go. All right. Well, hey, let's talk about our sponsors real quick. We got our friends over at manscaped.com, making sure that your junk is looking clean for next week Sunday when you present it to that girlfriend you met next week Saturday. So get yourself Manscaped. PWR is the promo code, 20% off to get yourself silky smooth, like our boy Dave Hero was saying, and our friends over at collarandelbowbrand.com. A lot of new good shirts out there. The D'Lo Brown shirt, you're looking at the real deal now, dressed like Adidas, collar and elbow from D'Lo Brown. Plus, Buenos Hermanos, the good brothers, they got some gear over there as well. My brother rating's at 10. I don't know if you know that, Matthew, but PWR360, the promo code. Get yourself covered up once you get silky smooth with collarandelbowbrand.com. Matthew, we got a little bit of news. I mean, it's news, but not really news. Do you remember Tyler Rex?
Remember the visual, the pictures that I've seen of him today. I remember who it was. I cannot go on very extensively about his in-ring career, unfortunately.
Tyler Rex, I remember when I heard the name, I'm like, I recognize the name. And I'm like, it's a tall dude with long, dread hair.
Yeah.
And then I saw the picture. I'm like, yeah, that's the dude. Well, Tyler Rex is no longer Tyler Rex. Tyler Rex is transitioning into, I think it was Gabby Tuft. Tyler Rex is now going to gender reassignment. So Tyler Rex now is the first WWE wrestler to come out and go through gender reassignment. Tyler Rex doesn't, it doesn't do much for me, only because, like I said, he had kind of a cup of coffee in the big show.
Right.
I mean, no pun intended there. Had a cup of coffee on the Raw and the Smackdowns and pay-per-views. But, to each their own, honestly. Yeah. Your thoughts, Matthew?
Yeah, happy for her, and more power to her.
So, like I said, not a big story, but Tyler Rex, no longer Tyler Rex, now to be referred to as Gabby Tuft. I believe I saw a video where Gabby formerly went by Gabe Tuft, so it's now Gabby Tuft. One other story, too, the Forgotten Sons. Yes, I know you forgot about them, pun intended. But you had Steve Cutler, you had Wesley Blake, and you had Jackson Riker. Well, we know Jackson Riker's on Monday Night Raw with Elias, walking with Elias. The other two were seen with King Corbin coming out, and they were kind of his court. Well, Steve Cutler has been released from WWE. No real reason as to why. There's talk of this and that and the other thing. We're not going to speculate on that. Really, let's just talk about what Steve Cutler put out on the Twitter machine. Unfortunately, today I was released. It was shocking to say the least, but I am excited about the future and all the possibilities in front of me. Thank you for your continued support. 90 days, the countdown begins. So it sounds like he has a 90-day no-compete clause where he cannot show up in another company, cannot work for another company, unless he's under a mask, technically. Like the old Weatherman radio DJ stuff. But your thoughts on one of the Forgotten Sons being forgotten from WWE?
Yeah, and I mean, the thing of it is, too, it's just, if you go back, we really haven't gotten like a string of releases from WWE since the initial one with COVID. Yeah. And so that, unfortunately, that stuff that happens, it kind of had him.
Morning we talked about Lars Sullivan.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, this happened shortly after that too. So it looks like, hopefully this is a small string of releases, but here's the thing for him is there is competition out there. There's alternatives out there that were not necessarily as prevalent a handful of years ago. So it's still not back territory days. And with COVID, indie bookings and everything are not what they were, but there are other promotions that, seem to have a little more life than they had in the past few years. And I mean, the creation of AEW gives people options. So, yeah, hopefully he can land somewhere that he's happy with.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see people work. So hopefully there's an independent booking out there for you. So Steve Cutler, no longer with the WWE. The door seems to be open because he left on good terms. Yep. And again, folks, that's how you leave a job, is you leave it on good terms.
Well, and here's the thing. As we've seen in the past with WWE, you can leave on bad terms. You can leave with the building on fire and still make it back.
Ultimate Warrior made it back. Sable made it back. I mean, they were shitting in her bag.
Yeah. Brett came back.
Yeah. Brett punched Vince on the way out the door.
And when CM Punk comes back, you can add him to the list.
CM Punk's technically back, but he works for Fox.
That's right.
CM Punk, again, starring in the new wrestling TV show that'll be on Stars called Heels. He was the first really big name announced for that show, along with Stephen Amell, the lead character on that show. So, Matthew, let's talk about a little bit of Smackdown. Smackdown tonight.
That sounds like a wonderful thing.
We were just coming off the heels, pun intended, of what we had at the Royal Rumble. Are you recovered? I know you said that you kind of had like you had to come down from the high of watching the Rumble.
No, it was such a great, well put together pay-per-view. There wasn't a lot of filler. Every match meant something, and my first pay-per-view in the PWR Fantasy Draft, so I had some stakes riding on it. Not actually, although I actually ate literal steaks during the pay-per-view, so that was kind of cool to literally have steaks and figuratively have steaks on the pay-per-view. But yeah, I think I've recovered, and I'm ready now to see what that road to WrestleMania looks like.
The road to WrestleMania this year started off different than the one last year. More different than anything we've ever seen. Like I said, while Raw had some stuff going on, it didn't seem like a Raw after the Rumble because I didn't get a lot of big stories to come out of it, right? Now, Edge has shown up on Raw. He showed up on NXT. I'm willing to bet he shows up on SmackDown. You have speculated this for a while, Matthew. You think that he's going for the big dog.
Yeah, this is the story that needs to be told. I mean, Edge has always been a great promo, he's got a story to tell now with this return back. And what we saw last Monday on Raw and subsequently since, I mean, I think he's really people are really invested in Edge. Nobody, myself included, we really didn't think we were going to see him in ring again, much less have a potential to headline a WrestleMania. And, Roman's doing top tier heel work. And I think it only makes sense that you pair him with a great babyface and Edge. The whole Drew McIntyre thing, a face versus face, I don't think would work at this point for Drew, what they're trying to do with him. He just wrestled Goldberg, so you really don't necessarily want to tell that story of him wrestling another legend. And I think that you just have such a crystal clear picture in Edge versus Roman. You've got the baby face that people want to cheer. Now, here's the thing. You put fans in that stadium, I think the reception that Roman's going to get is going to be a world different than we've probably ever seen Roman get during a championship run. I mean, people seem to really be enjoying what he's doing with that character, but, go clear heel babyface with that. And I think the build up will be so fun with Roman and Edge and then Paul Heyman sprinkled in there. That's the story that needs to be told.
So if that's the story we're telling, to kind of diverge a bit from SmackDown, what story will we be telling at Raw? We do have Sheamus and we do have Drew McIntyre going at the next pay-per-view. I don't think that's a WrestleMania match. So what do you see for Drew?
I really don't know. And I think that the Sheamus
It's got to be a big monster. It has to be.
Yeah.
Could it be a monster that was chasing Randy?
Problem with that, though, is at least how the Fiend has been positioned. I mean, he's been positioned as a face, and he's somebody that people have wanted to cheer kind of since the start. So I don't know as much of that as, do they do a heel Strowman?
No,
McIntyre?
Strowman's on SmackDown.
Yeah, I don't.
So
have
here's
much interest.
here's the other guy it could be. You need a big name. And I know I said a monster, right? How about a ultra face? How about somebody that you can't see right now?
Yeah. My fear is it's going back to the Legends but it feels much more relevant than a match versus Goldberg.
Right.
And, it could make sense. That is a big high-profile match, and that goes another way of getting McIntyre over. It makes sense, and I feel like it's pretty likely. I mean, there's rumors of him.
Cena McIntyre, huh?
Yeah, there's rumors of him working Mania, and you're going to use him for a high-profile match. And in years past, the high-profile non-title match was that doesn't seem to be a possibility this year or a factor. So you got to think if Cena does appear, he's going to be in a match that matters.
Now, remember that it's going to be 2 nights again. So they have to have really main events for 2 nights.
Yeah.
One of the main events will be Edge and Roman.
Yeah. I like having that as an unknown. And you got to think, too, Elimination Chamber's coming up. And
Fastlane.
Yeah, and Fastlane. So, I don't expect to see anything really settled until we get Fastlane behind us. In the rearview mirror, if we're going with car metaphors, it's called Fastlane. I said rearview mirror.
Yeah. It used to be where Royal Rumble was the road to WrestleMania and everything was getting set right after the Rumble. Now we still have 2 pay-per-views to go before we get to WrestleMania. Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, it's probably a good thing that we do have the brand split in the separate titles because, basically what you're doing after Rumble, you're setting half of the title matches.
Yeah. That's a lot of action there. Speaking of action on SmackDown, where are the Street Profits?
Very good question. Maybe they're hanging with Jey Uso.
Yeah. Are they COVID?
I don't know. I was thinking we'd seen them I think we've seen them in some backstage segments though recently, right?
Within the last couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah, I don't.
Remember they lost their belts to the Dirty Dogs, Rude and Ziggler. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah. Good question. But there's a lot and we got to find out what Bianca Belair is going to do. what title she's going after.
Right. So we should hear from her tonight as well. And the reason I bring up the Street Profits, I kind of set you up on that. Okay. Do we both believe pretty much that it's Dawkins that was injured? We know that Dawkins got hurt because there was a night when Ford and Dawkins were talking. Dawkins couldn't go because he wasn't medically cleared. And that was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Do you know why I bring this up?
Why do you bring that up?
Breaking news, Matthew Thomas. According to the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, the man they call Meathead will be dropping the Street Profits, taking the injury points, and making a pickup. Would you like to hear about it?
Yes. Who are you going to pick up?
In time for the pay-per-view on March 7th, AEW Revolution, the tag team partner of Darby Allin, the man they call Sting!
My goodness, that is a big move. Did you think when the year started or when the PWR Draft season started,
that Sting would be an eligible participant?
Yeah, that by the end of it, you would be drafting Sting.
Absolutely not.
My
Folks,
goodness.
I am dropping the profits, taking the -25, and picking up the man they call Sting. He will be in a match on pay-per-view on AEW, which is double points, in a specialty match, and they're probably going to win.
Well, there you go. My goodness. Big news being made here this morning.
That's what this show does. We drop bombs. So okay.
Not literally. We don't have access to explosive materials. I just had to state that.
It's funny. I went to Google just to see if there was any other news on the Profits. Do you know one of the first Google questions that's on there says, people also ask, what do the Street Profits mean when they say they want the smoke? Montez Ford reveals the meaning. He said that it means to get ready and prepared for the task or whatever the day might bring in front of them. We're always saying we want the smoke. The Street Profits are one of the most popular tag teams in WWE and gained popularity from their days of NXT. What does it mean when they say they want the smoke?
Well, isn't it great to know that you can just find out pretty much whatever you want to find out on the internet?
The internet is awesome. Also on SmackDown, I've got a feeling that with what's going on with Big E in the Intercontinental Championship, I feel that Sami Zayn, there's a possibility he might end up pulling that IC belt back again.
I don't know. I'm not as sure about that. I think the story's going to go on for a while because they're doing such a good job with Sami's character right now. But I think at that point, his Intercontinental T-shirts lose some of the irony.
Not the Intercontinental champ?
If he actually is the Intercontinental champ. So, yeah, I think they're going to keep it rolling, but at the same time, I see Big E hang on to that title for a while.
Okay. Yeah, the last time we saw the Street Profits, by the way, on SmackDown was when they were talking to Sonya Deville, and Dawkins had that big basket of fruit, remember?
Yeah. But you're right. No in-ring action for quite a while.
Right. So, again, to recap, dropping the Profits, dropping 25 points, picking up Sting!
That's a big, bold move right there. And here's the thing. You're going into the final stretch of this draft, and you got somebody nipping at your heels.
Right. I mean, I was on cruise control, honestly, for the first 6 months.
So we shall see, but things are interesting at this juncture.
Got to do it. Now, the only problem is, what if the Profits show up for any of the last 3 pay-per-views? Was it worth, dropping them to get double points out of Sting in a specialty match?
What's gonna happen? They're gonna wrestle a singles match against that guy who's gonna jump ship, Christopher Daniels.
My hope is that not life-threatening, but Omega, Page, or Sting get hurt at the pay-per-view. Oh, looks like I gotta drop you. See you later.
My goodness, there are a lot of things that can happen, a lot of directions that the PWR Fantasy Draft can go here in the last few months.
Well, hey, we've got a lot of directions that we could go with this podcast. Like we could talk about getting stuck in the snow in 2016 in a Ford Mustang in Denver without tires on.
Those are things that happen.
That got posted to the PWR timeline. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did. That's right. So, hey, man, some more views to make that guy that's not me some more money.
But the one place this direction this is going to go is we're going to wrap this up for the week. So for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.